Mempho Metal Podcast, episode this many. Today with me is Peter Miller and Matt Engle from VERMIN FATE, thrash extraordinaires, killers of all types of ears and other sonic shit. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you. What's up?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Yeah, we're big fans of the podcast, so we're stoked to be on it.
You guys. Awesome. Well, cool for being here, man. So just jump right into it, man. Talk a little bit about, what got you guys, Matt, what got you back into it, man? What brought you back to the scene? What got you to doing this? How did you guys hit me, man?
Yeah, so really, it's all thanks to this guy. Me and him have been best friends for many years now, and he kind of just been putting a little bug in my ear about wanting to start a band, and we'd gone over a couple different ideas, and then one day he was just like, man, we should start a thrash band. I was like, okay, cool. Like, to be honest, I'd never really listened to much thrash before this, a little, of course, like classic stuff, Metallica, and, stuff like that. But after about 6 months of him kind of just putting that bug in my ear and just bringing it up every now and again, I was like, you know what? Let's do it, man. Start buying some gear, and we'll get it going. And sure enough, he did. He started buying a bunch of stuff, started practicing, and it just started coming to fruition from there. We started writing and started pulling in other members once we had a little bit of material together. We got his brother-in-law Glenn on drums. That was the first step, which is actually a really fun story because it was definitely just a favor to Pete. Like, when we approached him about it, he was just like, I guess, yeah, I'll do it. He just loves it, and so he was willing to do it. But then after about 2 practices, he was like, oh shit, this is really fun. And he's super into it now.
Yeah.
So after him, after he getting that kind of rolling for us, then we got Fish after that, Jonathan Morris. And then we were kind of taking our time with finding a vocalist because we had a very specific thing in mind for what we wanted. We wanted kind of hardcore vocals over a thrash sound, and so we tried a couple guys out, and that's when we came across Aaron.
I kind of headhunted him.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
Yeah.
He was in this band called Thief's Hand, which since Thief's Hand split, they've kind of, I guess, the members of that band kind of have now it's 3 different bands, and all 3 bands are really good. So I went to a couple Thief's Hand shows and was standing in the back recording. And I was sending it to the guys in the, in our chat, yo, I don't know who this fucking dude is, but I think this is a vibe. We just got to figure out an avenue to get to know him because we didn't know him. But it turns out he's a homie. So
awesome, yeah. Awesome. And it's great, and might I add that you're both guitar players, and I think you make the best use of having 2 guitar players in a thrash band. It was definitely something really, really cool to hear. And you mentioned, your vocalist vibe or whatever, you wanted a hardcore vocalist over thrash. I think you fucking nailed it, man.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah, he sounds so tough, dude.
Yeah.
It's so tough.
And it's really cool, too, because, we kind of threw him into the deep end. We pretty much had all the music written by the time that he joined the band, because we honestly spent a little over a year kind of writing on the music for the first album, and just really kind of shaking the dust off and getting back into playing. And so by the time he joined, we pretty much had everything ready to go. And he did a really good job on the back end, just putting vocals over everything and getting into the idea of doing a fantasy themed band.
So we had this idea, and when Aaron came in, we're kind of bombarding him with all this wild shit at the first couple practices. Of course he doesn't know us, but we're we didn't want to do anything really political. A lot of thrash bands are super political, which of course there's nothing wrong with that. And it's not that we aren't political, but we just wanted to do something from the jump with this project. It's been, if we're not going to do it if we're not going to have fun, and the fun, I guess the most fun that we can have is when we're all geeking out about stupid shit. So we're what do we like? Well, we like wizards and we like medieval shit, and we like Matt and I are big like BT Bam fans, big Coheed fans. So we were like, well, let's create some kind of like concept idea, and let's just kind of do like a Coheed idea, but in a thrash format. So that's where we told Aaron that, and Aaron took off with it. He writes a lot in his spare time, like writes fiction and stuff. So he created this universe that we are now starting to get on paper, and the next album is a continuation. Well, actually, it's going to be a prequel to the album we have out now, which is called Cursebreaker. So the next one is going to be a prequel that takes place 1,000 years or so before Cursebreaker, and then album number 3 is actually going to be like a sequel to Cursebreaker. So it's real dumb and nerdy, but yeah.
No, that's awesome. When I got the record and started listening to it, like I saw the 1, 2, like it was numbered like 1 to 6. I was like, oh shit, okay, well there's a concept to this. And as soon as like number 1 started, like I couldn't wait to hear 6. I was like, oh shit. I was like, if this builds like I think it's gonna build, dude, this is gonna be fucking awesome. Come on, 6, hurry up. But in the meantime, through the course of the record, and you have to forgive me because I'm a guitar geek too. So I nitpick the shit out of everything you guys play.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
And it's killer, man. It's really, really cool to hear that because I'm so you've got me and you've got John from Epic of Unlight and Josh. I mean, and I think we're tech guys, we're heavy guys, we're more or less straight up death metal, and then to hear the thrash being done in the right way and to hear it that good, the recording is amazing, dude. I loved it.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, I mean, so we tracked everything ourselves, and then Cody Landers, our buddy, mixed and mastered everything. He works with Hotkey Studios usually, mixed and mastered. He did a really good job.
He really captured the vibe that we were going for.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. So this is definitely, and that's why, and I think I messaged you Monday, Matt. I was like, man, who's responsible for this for this here? I might have his name tattooed on me right under Matt Qualls. So,
no, he killed it, man.
Definitely.
Album for us as well. This first album was an E standard, which was also a really fun transition for us coming from I also come from more of a techie background.
Right.
So to transition back to writing in E standard, something I haven't played in since I was 17 years old or something, was a lot of fun to figure out. But so this next album is going to be in D standard. And I think just to really encapsulate the world that we're trying to build as we jump around on the timeline, we're going to revert back to tuning. So this next album is going to be in the past, so it's going to be in D standard. But then when we do the third album, and it jumps back to the current timeline, we're going to jump back up to E standard to kind of keep that sound contained of different time periods and stuff like that.
Dude, that's awesome. Yes, that's killer, man. I like
that. Yeah. We put a lot of thought into the ethos of this and world building, and definitely got to give a lot of credit to Aaron. We gave him an idea and he just absolutely ran with it. And me and him have started working on comic books and possibly a D&D campaign, and we're real into the nerd stuff on this, man.
It's cool because he started on his own time, but he has since shared it with us. He's creating what he's calling
the lore Bible.
Yeah, so it reads almost like a movie synopsis rather than an actual a fiction novel. But
it's basically the Silmarillion, but for Vermin Fate.
But for Vermin Fate, yeah.
But that's amazing, man. That's for so much work to go into basically your idea, your whole the word escapes me, but the thing for your band, man, and to have and you're already this far and you're going this much further, and you're building on these stories, or you're building on these pieces, man. That's awesome. That's conceptual from the jump. So yeah, I dig that, dude. I love it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, man. It adds a lot of fun for us, and just I don't know. If again, like you said earlier, if it's not fun, we don't want to do it. And it's been very freeing to be in a band that is not worried about making it quote unquote, and just like really focusing on our art and doing anything we can to enhance that art, including like world building and lore and stuff like that. It just adds another layer of fun for us as nerdy guys, and it also allows us to like wrap in the music to what we're doing and try and be more conceptual. Like this next album, you know, we storyboarded this next album, so we're about a little over halfway done with it, and you know, each song has a different feeling behind it based on what's going on in the story. So we're trying to reflect the music to that instead of just writing a bunch of riffs, throwing them together and be like, oh, this might work here, might work here. It's like, no, this song needs to be more urgent and intense. So like, let's write it urgent and intense. Or this song needs to be heavy. There's nuclear bombs going off. It needs to just be super heavy.
Or it's a chase scene. And it's monsters. And so we wanted to like, you know, gallop riffs and, you know, shit like that.
Yeah, really epic stuff.
Absolutely. And that's even, you know, as, you know, again, as guitar players, you know, the flow of riffs, you know, whether something grabs onto the riff before it, whether it be a note or a specific chord or, you know, whatever, it has to flow, man. We can't, you know, yes, we'd love to grind all the way through something, but you know, it's got to flow.
That
you know, that's I definitely focus on that myself. Whether or not I get there a lot of times is to be determined by whoever hears it. But yeah, that's definitely, you know, for me, the way to go, you know, no doubt. So Vermin Fate, you know, again, you know, like I said, man, this is really, really cool that you guys have built on this, and this is just going to get bigger and bigger, I think. Let's step back a minute, man, and let's discuss some origins. You know, where'd you guys come from, man? How'd you, you know, I always ask everybody, you know, just for my own sake, you know, what made you want to do it? You know, my story is mine, yours is yours. Everybody's got their own little story of how they stumbled into this, and you know, go from there.
I think I'll let Pete go first because mine's pretty long. So I'll let you go.
Well, I don't know. I was in like a melodic metalcore band back in high school, and like shortly after I graduated, like I'm from like the middle of nowhere in Middle Tennessee, and so I was in a band back home for, you know, like 2.5, 3 years, and it's really tough, like being from such a small town. I mean, my hometown is like I think just over 1,000 people in the whole town. So
it's a huge metal scene, as you can guess. In the middle of Tennessee.
Yeah, so you know, being the 3 dudes who were in the metal, we had our thing going, and you know, it was a lot of fun. But you know, I grew up. I started playing guitar, I guess, in 3rd grade, and my background's really like, I mean, you know, there's a picture of my dad holding me, I think, when I was like 6 months old in a Master of Puppets onesie. So, you know, the Big Four originally, that's kind of what I got into, and then a lot of Southern rock and blues, just from growing up where I did. But I moved to Memphis, and I didn't play guitar for probably 10 years. Yeah, I didn't play at all, man. I started working and trying to get, you know, I went to college and did all that stuff, and then I started working and met my wife, and you know, we had our oldest kid, and things were just, you know, I just had bigger picture stuff going on. But once Matt and I met, we became best friends, and it's just funny because like when we met, he looked so familiar, and we got to talking one time, and I was playing a guitar at a party, and I was just plunking around. I had barely been playing, and I think I was playing Funeral Thirst.
Yeah.
I was playing Funeral Thirst by Black Dahlia Murder, and he was like, "Whoa, is that Funeral Thirst?" Yeah, dude. And it was kind of like that scene in Step Brothers.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like,
are we best friends now?
Best friends?
Yep.
So, yeah, it's just, and turns out he was in my favorite, you know, a few years before, he had been in my favorite local band, which is Cavatica. And I was at every Cavatica show that I could make it to locally. I couldn't travel, but I kind of had I didn't know anybody in the scene because of the circles I was forced to run in college, but I still went to every show I could, and I think everybody knew that I was there, but no one knew me. because I always wore a bandana. I didn't want anybody to know my
As
name.
soon as he said that I was the guy in the bandana, I was like, "Oh, dude, yeah, I know who you are." Several times. He always wore the bandana across his face. I was like, "I know exactly who you are."
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
I was. I've been. Yeah, it's a long story.
Bandana Man. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I don't know. I mean, I played around in some, bar rock bands and shit for a few years, and just trying to make ends meet. Like, nothing substantial, but I always wanted to play heavy music. But because I was technically a part of the scene back in the, the 2005, 2009 era. I was a part of the scene, even though I didn't know anyone. I just went to shows. I didn't know anyone, so I didn't have that outlet to kind of explore. But then flash forward a few years later, I meet Matt, we hook up. We had we had this project called Eris Morn for just a hot second.
Oh, shit. Yes, you did.
Yeah, I did vocals in that. Yeah.
That was a fun one.
That
That
was
was really just an excuse for me to finally put my 7-string guitar that I bought to use.
I remember you'd sent me that video, or Steven sent me the video, check this out. I was ready for it. And then, like, as soon as it started, man, and then the voice comes in, I was like, oh, shit, where's this going? And then, of course, it got heavy and techie, and damn.
Yeah.
That one was a lot of fun. And I always loved working with Steven. Like, obviously, a mutual friend of ours. He was in Connecticut with me. Like, definitively my other best friend in the whole universe, man. I love that guy so much.
I've never seen Steven, and I've never seen the man without a smile on his face.
Oh yeah, dude.
That makes me love him more than anything.
Yeah.
Just, he's just, hey, how you doing? He's always smiling, man. Always just happy to be wherever he's at.
100%. Definition of he'll give you the shirt off his back, man. Like anything you need, got you.
Yeah, my nana used to have this saying growing up about my brother, but I would apply it to Steven as well, that he's got such a big heart that he's lopsided.
I've heard that. Yeah, definitely. And it's funny you mentioned, man. You said that you really weren't into music, but you were attending shows. I made a comment. I think it was Heather and I, or Ian, or somebody. I made a comment that in this scene, man, those who are going to shows, those who are coming to see us, the fans are just as much a part of this.
Oh, 100%.
As the musicians themselves, man. I think I love everybody that's been there, and I mean, I think we got one of the best diehard scenes out of a lot of places. You're going to go to a show in Memphis. There's, I can name on both hands, 10 people you're going to see at those shows, no matter what, and that's a lot to say.
As musicians, like we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for the fans. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
sure, it's fun to sit in your bedroom and write guitar riffs, but like the overall goal for most bands is to get out there and play live. And without a fan base, like there's no reason for us to. You know what I mean? Like they're the reason that we print merch, and the reason that we continue to put out albums. And
yeah, because I mean, I think it's it's true. Like it's one thing like being on this side of it, doing it, but because we're also on the other side of like whenever dude, I hadn't met any of y'all on Hate Doctrine at all, but I went to every show I could because y'all were my favorite local band.
So good.
And like I didn't fucking know you guys. Like I was just like, I want to hear blast beats and techie shit and da 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 da. And of course, I don't know. It's just kind of like a duplicitous thing where we are currently on one side of it, as you are, like, you do it for the fans, like we said, because, that's who you do it for, as well as. But we also do it because we're on the other side. We are fans
ourselves. Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that's definitely how I remembered you, Peter. I may have met you once or twice, or ran into you, and I know we were friends on Facebook, and I knew that for one, you were a hell of a fucking tattoo artist. Holy shit. Yeah, I tried to tattoo once, and I probably shouldn't do tattoos no more than I should be building, race cars. So,
well,
definitely an art, man. Definitely a skill.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, physical art is not my medium. I'll say that for sure.
Now, dude, if you wanted a sleeve full, like if you wanted a stick people family, I'm your dude. You know,
Hit me up.
no,
That's
no
like
doubt.
a style now, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's dickheads in Europe charging, man, fucking 30, 40 grand for full sleeves.
Of stick figures.
Yeah,
and,
it's
like,
called ignorant style.
oh my god.
And
Ignorant style.
That's
yeah,
fitting.
it's a whole thing, and I mean, I'm a little bit of a. I think I'm just older, so like I just don't fucking get it, and I don't know. No hate to anyone who likes ignorant style or anything like that, but like I don't know, man. I don't understand why someone would pay $1,000 for a fucking stick figure.
Oh, dude, if there's then ignorant style, if that's like you said European or whatever, I think somebody owes me some money because, dude,
You've
talking
been doing it for a long time.
Dude, yeah.
you talk about the most ignorant tattoos. I was telling someone the other day, I don't have a tattoo that means a damn thing to me. Except for Doris is tattooed on my arm. The Justice cover is tattooed on my arm. But other than that, not a piece of this art on me means shit.
Yeah.
And had I done pieces that meant things and stuff like that, but I got a plan to cover up all the bullshit. So
Oh well,
we'll
turns
go
out
from there.
now you know a guy.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'll be to see you. So yeah, but definitely, man. Both sides of the spectrum. Whether you play music in Memphis or anywhere else, or you're a fan and you're attending shows, man, it's just the scene as a whole, and largely due to those who support it like they do, man. It's amazing.
Oh, dude, I love the Memphis scene, and like a big part of this project from the jump has just been like supporting the Memphis scene because like we knew from the get go that we don't want to. We're not really interested in touring. Maybe a couple, like Weekend Warrior stuff. We did just set up a show in Chattanooga and like weekend stuff, or maybe a week during the summer sometime. But as far as like being on the road all the time, like he's got kids. Most of us have either families or very serious jobs. Like we know that's not what we want, but what we do want is to bolster the Memphis scene, help out with whether it be knowledge or just hopping on shows and like helping people get in front of people that crowds they've never been in front of. Like we just want to help rise the tide of the Memphis scene. Like we know we're not in it for the end game of being famous or making it. Like, but if someone else out of Memphis can break out because we were a part of helping bring that up, like, dude, that's fantastic. Like, that will make us happier than ever could be just going on tour all the time or anything like that. Like,
dude.
Let the young ones do it.
I think the biggest part of you say making it, and we all know what that entails. And
Sure.
I went through a period just like everyone else did. I'm going to make it, and dude, I stared myself in the eyes in a mirror one day and said, man, this is what I'm gonna have to play to make it. And that's when I said, dude, F this. If it's not death metal, I don't want anything to do with it. So back to my roots I went. But yeah, definitely that, man. If you can't do what you want to do, I think anyone that's out here doing what they want to do and playing what they want to play, the music that they've created, and they're playing it for those who are interested and people are loving it, man. You're getting a reaction. I think you've made it, man. I mean, that to me is making it. If someone loves your music, you've made it.
Yeah,
I agree.
There's so many different definitions to success. So
yeah, man. Because I mean, again, like the definition of success, at least to me, is like if we're gonna play a show and I have fun playing the show, and I get to play shows with my best friend, and the guys in the band are some of my best friends in the world. If we can all have fun and we get to fucking start pits and incite mediocre violence.
All right.
Yeah.
Like to me, and everyone after the show is like, hey, yeah, I had a lot of fun. Yeah, cool. So did I. That shit rules. To me, that's a success. Yep. Like, it doesn't mean, I don't know. At one point in my life, I was definitely on the same wave. Like, yeah, man, you got to get, this song, like, it has to be like so cookie cutter, and it's got to be like, we got to send it off to this rep, and man, fuck all that shit.
Yeah.
I just want to play heavy music with my homies and sing about shit.
Yeah. And where were we at, 13, 14? I started this when I was played my first show when I was 14 years old, May the 11th, 1995.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I know for me, I got a really late start, like to kind of go into my origins. Like, I didn't even get my first guitar until I was 17 years old, and didn't really even play that first guitar until I was 18. But then I just spent a year solid doing every guitar workout I could find. Like Steve Vai had this like 8-hour a day guitar workout, and so that's what I did. And I just for a whole summer did the 8-hour a day thing, and then just worked really hard for a year. And had, of course, my first band, as I think probably all of us, was just god awful, dude, just so bad. We were a bunch of kids who wanted to play metal but had never listened to metal. So like you know what that sounds like. We've all seen that band that's like that wants so badly to be metal but just has never heard metal.
So CrossFit?
Yeah. So that was definitively my first band. But after like really putting in a lot of work on guitar, I ended up kind of leaving that band because I saw the writing on the walls of like I had progressed past what they were like the work they were willing to put in. So I just went ahead and left that band and said, you know, like you guys do whatever you want, keep going, whatever. But I need to find something that's a little bit more serious. So in my off time, an old friend of mine, AJ Harris, he was real big in the hardcore scene. Shout out AJ wherever you are, man. I think he's down in Florida somewhere. But we were out having lunch and he got a phone call and was like just talking on the phone, and he was like, "Do we still need a bass player?" And to the guy on the phone, and then he just like drops the phone. He's like, "Hey, you're gonna play bass for us? Is that cool?" And I guess like I'm not doing anything. So that was for like a hardcore band. So we had a couple practices with Philip Palmer, who ended up being the drummer for Cavatica. So in between doing the hardcore songs, me and Phil would do metal. So like I had some like solo material I'd been working on just to have like something to show people and be like, hey, this is the direction I want to go. And so after about 4 practices of the hardcore band, because the guitar player never showed up, so I ended up playing guitar instead of bass. And after about 4 practices, Phil pulled me aside and he's like, hey man, do you want to like not do this and go play metal? I was like, absolutely, let's get out of here.
Yes.
So we went and kind of tried to start something new, but then at that point he was kind of like, you know what, Cavatica already has an EP out. We've got, you know, the bass player, which is Stephen Garrett, and the vocalist Tyler Mathis was still floating around too. He's like, so really we just need to find another guitar player and we can get this going. And like they played 2 shows at that point. And since they already had so much music, I was like, yeah, dude, absolutely. I'd been to their first 2 shows, really enjoyed it. So we brought the guitar player back in and started doing Cavatica. So a lot of people I run into think that I was a founding member, which is not true. I joined after like 2 shows. But anyway, so that like really started to take off for us. It was in that kind of mid 2000s, late 2000s era where deathcore was kind of being invented, and like it wasn't really a genre yet because nobody knew what it was. And you know, Acacia Strain was coming out, and all these bands that were playing and drop tunings we'd never heard before. And so it was really fun to kind of be a part of that movement of playing like techie stuff, but adding in just really, really heavy breakdowns. So we did that for a while, and eventually decided to part ways because the drummer Phil and then Andy Britton, shout out Cora, awesome, freaking one of my favorite local bands, man.
Also a sweetheart.
Oh, dude, I don't know if you've ever met Andy, but if you talk to him, he is just an absolute sweetheart. He will try and turn you into a Marxist communist, but you know, that's just part of being friends with Andy.
Yeah.
Too late.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, so they wanted to do like a melodic hardcore project, and I wanted to do more like death metal and stuff like that, or like really like progressive tech metal. So then I started a band called Left for the Birds. That one was really fun. Probably like musically one of the ones that I've been most proud of in my past. I'd say that's when I was at my peak guitar playing, just like the most like in the zone with Sebastian Ferreira. I think you know Sebastian.
Yeah, actually, that's where the Lloyd connection is.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. And then me, Sebastian, and Lloyd jammed a few times. We had written like 3 or 4 songs just like in the practice space. It was a lot of fun. I didn't know if I'd be able to keep up with Lloyd, but I just was barely hanging on. I'm sure you know all about that. But yeah, from there, after Love for the Birds ended, I joined a band doing vocals for a little while called Anodyne Solace, which was really fun. Kind of helped write some of the guitar for that, but really rather help compose like some of the music. And doing vocals was super fun, but like I didn't know what to do with my hands, and like it was just I basically just tried my hardest to be Trevor, straight out from Black Dahlia Murder. That was just like my whole goal. Which I think if you like listen to my vocals, they're pretty close. Yeah, and then that's when that like 5-year break came in, and didn't really do anything. And then me and Steven kind of have always stayed in touch, writing music wise, and we just kind of got some material together and been writing, and was like, you know what, let's bring some other folks in. And then obviously Pete being my best friend, I was like, well, I just want to play in a band with my best friend. So between having him and Steven in the same band, it was awesome. Yeah, we did that music video just as kind of, I don't know,
because we could.
Yeah, we just wanted to.
Just fun.
Yeah. That's all that ever really came of it. We had a couple more songs that we just never put out, but and then that's where the tale of Vermin Fate begins. Not too long after that, I guess. So told you it was kind of a long one, but we got there.
Hey, I love it though, dude. And it's everybody's story's been different, dude, and everybody tells their own tale or whatever. And I mean that's one of the most awesome parts about it, really. You just where'd you come from? What made you want to do it? That's one of the I don't have any idea of where this podcast will ever go. But as long as people are playing music, man, as long as somebody's got a story to tell, man,
to talk about.
Yeah, true. I'll have this going.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Sebastian and Lloyd. Was this a project called Alpha Must Be Destroyed?
I don't know if we ever put a name on it.
Okay.
It may have been. I don't know. They may have put a name to it. I remember we had a song called "My Mom Hit Me the Other Day," which is like an inside joke between me and Sebastian. We used to do this fun game where we would go to restaurants, and Sebastian obviously flew in Spanish, and I would interpret for him. So the waiter would come up and be like, "Hey, what would you like to drink?" And so I'd say something in Spanish to him. He'd tell me what to say, and he would just literally ramble for like 2 minutes in Spanish, and then I look at the waiter and be like, "I'll have a Coke."
Yeah.
So one of the things that he said when he was rambling was like, "My mom hit me the other day," and so that just stuck. It's like,
it's cool, man, because Scott was had mentioned Lloyd and Carlos when they're on the phone and stuff. If they're going back and forth, they'll like go through this like whole 2-minute spiel of it just in Spanish or whatever, and it's like one word will pop up, "Oy te ve te vaya morbid angel," and Scott's like, "Is there not a Spanish word for morbid angel?"
Yeah, apparently not.
Maybe not. I don't know.
I think proper nouns are a little bit different, but
yeah.
But yeah, going to Sebastian, man. I love Sebastian. I just went to New York to see him last year. Sebastian, if you watch this, I love you, buddy. I'm so proud of you. His artwork is insane.
Yes, I have seen his artwork. I've never met Sebastian. I know of him through Lloyd and just his time in the scene and stuff.
Burial Within ties, which also shout out Scott, Lloyd, and all them. Burial Within was like one of my fucking favorites, man. Like, it made me want to be a better guitar player.
Yeah, because I also used to. I mean, I was like, again, I didn't know anybody, but I would go to shows because I had to have it. I'm just like, I was born to do this. Like, I was born to be a part of heavy music. And even though I didn't know anybody, I was still going to shows. If I came across a $20 bill, I was going to a fucking show. And I was going to Cavatica, then I was going to Burial Within. Like, dude, Serapis, all that shit. Serapis.
I haven't heard that name in a long time, dude. Hell yeah.
One of the best bands come out of the city, and also, objectively, one of the best band names.
Oh, dude, yeah, killer.
What the fuck? It's so good.
That's what I've never had coming up with band names. I've always been the one that just I don't care, whatever it's called, I think and Lloyd came up with Hate Doctrine. I was coming up with all these like gory, like dead baby names and stuff.
Fetal mutilation.
Yeah, prolapse disfigurement.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about Lloyd, man, is I don't know how long it had been since he played drums or whatever. We got to talking, going back and forth, and Jeff, our bass player, sent him a video of a band I was in, And he was like, dude, or Jeff sent it to me, or I don't know how it got to Lloyd. But anyway, next thing I know, man, he's like, yeah, I love it. I can play this. Looking at a set. I'll probably go pick it up tomorrow. Yeah, the very next day he had a set. Pedals on the way, cymbals. I'm like, okay, I guess we're doing this.
Yeah.
Dude, jamming with Lloyd was like one of the coolest experiences because it was just like he like took direction really well. I think between me and Sebastian, like kind of telling him what we wanted, but like he just did it. Like there was none of this like, oh, let me figure out how to do this. It was he just did it. Like I'd never played with a drummer like that didn't have that process of like playing around. He was just like, okay, you want like a thrash skank and then like a blast beat and then some double bass and like with a cool fill. Like, yeah, that sounds good. And there he goes. Like, yep. It was a really cool experience.
We'll be doing a show here later on in the summer, and we've put together some. Well, thank you guys. Be glad to see you. We put together some new tracks or some new songs to kind of play or whatever. He heard the newest one we finished yesterday or started on yesterday. I think he'd heard it one time. And he comes to practice and he's kind of fiddling with the intro or whatever. We got to playing the song. He went all the way through it and had it mapped out in his head. And I'm like, yeah, I like it. Don't touch it. Leave it alone. And then, yeah.
That's just Lloyd, man.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
Well, man, his biggest niche is, most 90% of the songs that we have, of course, Jeff was pretty instrumental in vocals and lyrics and things like that. 90% of the material that we have, the way those songs are structured, is owed 100% to Lloyd. I mean, he can tear a song apart and put it back together, and it's like, wow, okay, well, kind of how I meant to do it, but since you do it, that's okay.
Yeah. Well, I think that's important when it comes to like band dynamics. Yeah. Like, I think everybody obviously has a voice and that voice should be heard, but like there kind of has to be a leader, like someone to kind of do the organizing and composing and stuff like that. And obviously every band works different, but I've just, in all the bands I've been in, I've just noticed it works better where like 1 to 2 people kind of take the reins on that and help place everything and get everything in the right order. And like you said, kind of tear a song apart and put it back together in a more efficient way and stuff. So I think that's pretty important for bands to like be willing to
know your role.
Know your role, exactly.
Right? Like, I mean, don't just like let whoever the dickhead in the band is.
Yeah, steamroll everything.
No. I mean, everyone, it needs to be collaborative, but if somebody just has a knack for one thing a little bit better, or 2 people have that, let them do that, and you can still write, and you can still come up with 100% ideas and all that shit.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I mean, that's kind of where I fall.
Awesome.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's just important to like, if you recognize, where your position, where that falls. Yeah, exactly. Like knowing your strengths.
Yeah,
for sure.
Exactly. My personal favorite riffs on this first album are all Peter's riffs, which is funny. Like, they're the most fun to play. Like, we're kind of very yin and yang in our guitar playing, which
awesome.
Creates a really cool vision of like.
So like he's so good at death metal, techie shit, and all that stuff. As where I feel like I shine with more like I love all kinds of music. I don't know everyone fucking says that, but I really do. Like and I'm a huge like rock and roll nerd. Like I love all types of just rock and roll. Not necessarily anything. I mean, I love heavy rock and roll. Like He Is Legend, the Bronx, bands like that, which I would consider more straightforward rock and roll. So, but when my background growing up as like a Southern rock kid, a blues guy, things like that, I kind of can help sneak in those little tiny, like the kind of fast gallopy breakdown at the end of track 1 on our Curse Breaker, the Curse. So it's like bum, which he did that, and then it goes into this little lick that I came up with. It's very Southern rock and roll kind of vibe.
See, I can't wait to grow up and have another guitar player.
It's so much fun. Like, it changes the game because like then harmonies are on the table and just like collaborative writing and like mixing styles and like I've done a lot of solo guitar player stuff over the last few years, like the Airborne stuff with solo guitar player.
Yeah.
And all the stuff I did before that, after Sebastian, who I call my guitar soulmate, because like we literally play guitar the exact same way. Our hands move the same way. We think about things the same way. But after him, I just hadn't found anybody that like I even cared to invest in or like have that relationship with, because it is a very like being in a band's a lot like having a girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like you fight with these guys, you love these guys, you spend time with them. So until like Pete was on the table as like someone that I could play guitar with again, I just had no interest in playing with anybody else. But then I realized how much I missed having another guitar player to do cool shit with.
Oh, dude, we tried. We've tried a few guitar players, and there was one that was, I mean, absolutely awesome. But you know, when it comes down to the dynamic of two guitar players working together, I'd sent some tabs to a few guitar players, and they were just like, man, what do you do with this? I was like, well, just let me show you how to do it, because it's really not hard. But and that's kind of, we've looked and looked and looked, man, and I think it's fine, just me, Jeff, and Lloyd. But
I think it sounds great, but I think if the opportunity presents itself and you find somebody that the chemistry's right, I think it would be cool for you guys to add in that second, and just like even small stuff like having a rhythm behind your solos or being able to do harmonies without having to use a loop pedal or anything crazy like that, or backing tracks, like
absolutely.
It just gives it a more organic feel.
For sure.
And it's fun, just to have another buddy that understands the plight of a guitar player.
Yes, but again, like nothing against like backing tracks or anything like that, because like I saw one of the best shows I've ever seen. Like I don't know, it was probably like 3 weeks ago at Small Room at the High Tone. This band called Pitlord.
Oh shit, I heard about that.
Dude, what the fuck? It was so awesome.
Man.
I mean, for one, they're from Iowa, I think, and they're a barbecue themed death metal band. So I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know how much you guys know about barbecue in Iowa, but holy fuck, it's so good. And it was just two guys.
Wow.
A lot of backing tracks, but man, they had that shit locked down.
Dude, honestly, if I'm not writing something or playing guitar, I'm in front of my smoker or my grill or something. So that would have been right up my alley. And Jeff told me like the next day.
Yeah, it could be. When I get done with this, I'm actually going to my house to smoke a bunch of chicken. So
yeah.
Same way.
Being that I have the privilege of having guitar players on here with me, we got to geek out on some gear.
Oh yeah.
All
definitely.
Right. What are you guys playing? What are you guys going on?
His rig is fucking dumb, but we've been so painstakingly like selective about the shit that we've gotten.
So I we bought pretty much all new gear for this. So I used to play on a 5150, like classic block letter 5150, and that's what we started with. But I've always had my eye on a Engle Fireball. It's just literally my last name is Engle. It's like it's meant to be. So,
absolutely.
So finally got my hands on one of those. I had to wait like 7 or 8 months for it to ship from the time I bought it, but finally came in and it absolutely rips. It's the most plug and play amp I've ever had. Like you don't have to do anything to it. Of course, I have a few pedals that I like to run in front of it, but like you can just plug into it and it sounds better than 90% of the amps I've ever played on. So that, and then actually, believe it or not, I don't know if you're familiar with the band called the Dirty Streets. They're like a Memphis.
Yes.
Classic rock band.
Yeah, like dirty rock and roll.
Yeah, dude, they rule.
Yeah.
But anyway, Justin Tolan, their guitar player, I'm good friends with him, and we were talking, and I was just complaining about like I don't know what cab I want to use. Like I've got a few different options, and he really kind of talked me into getting an orange cabinet for playing like thrash metal, especially like being in an E standard tuning, because they do lack a little bit of like boom, but like they have that super tight punchy sound. They're like 13 or 14 ply instead of like the typical 7 ply for cabinets, completely enclosed. So I'm really glad that I went with an orange, because that Engle with the orange just like really makes a difference. And then through the front, before it even gets to the amp, I run a decimator, just one of my absolute favorite like noise suppressing like control type pedals, and then I run a TS9 just to tighten everything up. I use no gain from the TS9, but I use 100% of the volume and 100% of the tone, and then I just turn the gain all the way to 0. So it just acts as like almost like a mid boost, but not exactly a mid boost. It just tightens everything up.
Yep.
And then outside of that, I ended up getting the Dave Davidson like custom lead tone pedal. The name of the company is eluding me right now, but it is a all-in-one lead tone pedal. So it's got your reverb, it's got your delay, it's got modulation for the delay, it's got a boost channel in it, it's got like extra gain if you want it. So like all in one pedal, because like he was having a hard time finding a pedal that did everything he wanted to for leads.
Elodion?
Yeah, the name. Eidolon is the name of the pedal. I just can't remember the name of the company. So I run that through my effects loop for when I do leads, just to get that nice creamy Dave Davidson type style tone. And then for my guitars, I am a Jackson guy now. I used to be an Ibanez guy, switched over to Jackson when we started this project, and I'm so glad I did. It just really love the way they feel. I play a Brandon Kelly signature with the cool like green spackle on it, and then I also have a which is like a Kelly body shape. It's got a Polaris Access pickup, single pickup just in the bridge. No need for a neck pickup, because if Eddie Van Halen didn't need one, then neither do I. And then I also have a Jackson Warrior, which we're working on this next album with, that has some custom bare knuckle aftermath pickups in it.
Oh, nice. Yes.
Yeah. It sounds awesome, dude. The note clarity on those bare knuckles is insane. I've never had a pickup like that just picks up every little tiny note that you play in an entire chord. So, yeah.
All the reviews I've seen on the Aftermath is amazing.
Oh yeah, so I was thinking about going with something like Cold Sweats for doing thrash and stuff, but like the Aftermath just had so much greater range. Like if I can do anything I want with those, whereas like with the Cold Sweats had a very specific sound to them. So I ended up going with the Aftermath, and I'm very glad that I did, because I can get that real big, beefy sound if I want. I can switch to that neck pickup and get that like just really saturated sound, or I get that really tight, crunchy, punchy sound, which is what I use for most of what we do.
Yes.
With my bridge pickup. So yeah,
awesome.
I'm very happy with my setup.
So this the spackle that you're talking about, that you said Brandon Ellis?
Yeah.
I've got a picture I'm going to send you when this is over with.
Okay, cool.
And I think the guitar was made in 87, 88. It's a picture of me from 1994.
Oh wow, okay.
it's a USA Charvel. I think you'll like it.
Oh, I'm sure I will, dude.
Yeah,
I looked into a couple Charvels before I switched to Jackson.
Yeah.
But ever since Fender bought Jackson, man, their quality has actually gone through the roof. And not that I'm a huge just like Fender fan or anything, but as far as like just the quality coming out of their factories, like it's the nicest guitar I've ever owned. I'll say that.
Awesome. Yeah. Peter, what are you killing with, man? I like the Solar guitar you got because of the color. I think I'm a little biased to the color. There's one behind me that's same exact color. So.
Yeah. It's I'm playing on this album. I'm playing a Solar. On Cursebreaker, I'm playing a Solar. I think it's an A6. It's pretty rad, man. It plays super smooth. It actually, like, on record, I feel like it actually has a little bit of just a natural, like, just the very edge of like a twang.
I agree.
Which definitely suits my playing. But it's I think it sounds awesome. It's got these Duncan Design Solar pickups, which I kind of looked them up, and I think they have the same output specs as like the Invaders. But it's a super nice guitar. I fucking love it. I'm looking at buying another one. Love that guitar. But I got that going into on the front end. I've got I got my Decimator used for noise gate, which I haven't done it yet, but I'm about to run a second noise gate, most likely through my effects loop. But on the front end, I got my noise gate, and I've also got when I was growing up, I got when I was like think I was like 16, 15 maybe. They had just come out, but I got for my birthday, I got a Dimebag Darrell signature Ernie Ball wab, and it's the best wab I've ever used. I've usually always had one on my rig, even though I only use it like very, very, very rarely.
There is one 6 feet away from me right now.
Nice. Is yours the black camo or the green camo?
The green.
Yeah.
Man, that thing's 20 something years old, man.
Yeah.
It has seen it all.
Yeah. So I lost that long ago, but I've always wanted another one. I've experimented with different ones, but I was kind of like, well, I can't get another one that sounds exactly like what I want. So I bought another one. So I got that one going into the front too. And then to my effects, well, I've also got I just recently got it's a Jeff Loomis signature pedal. So
yes. Oh yeah. Definitely love that.
Yeah, it's very similar to the Dave Davidson signature that they discontinued, but the only difference is so his is it has a tap tempo. Mine does not for the delay, but mine has split options. So you can run delay and reverb through your effects loop, and you can still run. It comes with delay, reverb, overdrive, and a boost. And you can run the boost and your overdrive through the front, but you can run everything else through the effects loop.
It is pretty rad.
Shit.
You can split outputs in the same pedal,
Yeah.
Dude, that would save me so much headache.
Yeah,
dude.
It's fucking rad. It's expensive, but yeah, it's fucking rad. I definitely recommend it.
Hey, speaking of gates, you said you had the decimator. Which decimator are you guys running? Is it the G string, the 2?
The decimator 2, yeah.
Yeah, if you guys have got the other outputs on those pedals, you don't have to buy another gate for the loop. You can do the four cable method.
Run it back through, yeah. Actually, we've been sending that. Yeah, I think he sent that video to me, or I sent it to him of how to do that. Yeah,
that's how I bought the second.
So my Engle actually has a built-in noise gate on the back.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, so
Very
I am
nice.
technically running two noise gates.
Gotcha.
Built in, so.
Yeah, I got 2 gates going right now. I got I forget what's out front, but I've got a little decimator clone that I paid $12 for.
Nice.
It's in my loop right now.
Nice, does the trick.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, he's playing on Randall stuff, and he was looking at a bunch of different amps, and I feel like I kind of pushed him towards the Randall because it's a sleeper amp, man. Not enough people give Randall credit for how freaking good their amps sound, man. That, and not just that Dimebag tone, but just any high gain tone that you want to get out of a Randall amp.
Yeah.
It smacks so hard, dude.
Yeah, I think I've got my gain set at 6.5, and it sounds like there's a monster in the room with you. But it's very what's cool about our band, I feel like, especially live, is that Matt's setup, with it being with that enclosed orange cab and as bright sounding as his whole rig is, mine's definitely a little bit darker of a wash for the sound, but it works really well.
We also kind of EQ him a little bassier than me, because I just naturally, the way I play, I end up getting more mid-range and high range just out of my fingers, and then just my setup in general. So to have that, we're still in that guitar player frequency because as you know, you want to layer everything and have you're taking your bass down here, your guitars here, your snare, and then your vocals and stuff. So we're still in the same frequency, but he kind of takes the lows and I take the mids and the highs, and so it creates that really cool blend of similar tone but standout tone. You can hear the difference between our guitars live, which I'm a real big fan of because I've played in some bands where I hate to say this, but even me and Sebastian probably had way too similar of tones where we just sounded we even played the same way and everything, so there's no differentiating who was playing what. But when me and him are playing together, there's a definite layer, a sub layer, if you will.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Well, and it helps to have you've got your people that okay, the tones need to be similar, and yes, that's true. But I mean, if you can differentiate and make it that much more sonic, especially with two guitar players, one on each side of the stage,
Yep.
I think it creates a better listening experience for those in front of you.
I think so too. Because if you have the exact same tone and you're playing the exact same thing, then what's the point? Why do you need a second guitar player?
Run that shit
to the other side.
Yeah. I got I recently got into how I could kind of fatten things up, and I'm kind of looking at a switcher. Ian from Ritual Fog, man, he's really kind of pointing me in the right way, so I'll probably run a stereo rig at some point.
You should, because like you listen to anything Ian tells you straight up. So nasty, dog. Like,
oh my
god, man. And they're so loud and just like, but they don't lose any clarity. Like, so you see him with Autolith or Ritual Fog or one of his other 17 bands. Like, it's so good, dude. Like,
crush it.
Yeah, I get a lot of my pedal advice from Andy Britton from Cora. Shout out to him again, because he's been so kind, and like when I was talking about my problem with lead tone, I was like, I need something to help cut my lead tone through the mix. This man showed up to practice with like 9 different pedals to try. He's like, oh, here, let's try this, and honestly, we couldn't get any of them to work in the way that we needed them to, and he's kind of the one that like pushed me towards like finding an alternative in that Eidolon pedal. Andy or Ian from Autolith and Ritual Fog. If you want to talk tone, them the dudes to talk to 100%.
Yeah, we played with Cannabis Corpse.
Cannabis Corpse
with Autolith, and after Ian played, or after Autolith played, Ian tears his stuff down. I was like, well, okay.
Yeah, no, he's got an interesting setup. Like, even if you look at it on stage.
No one else was going to sound like that.
No. The last show that I saw him play in Autolith anyway, I've seen Ritual Fog since then, but I told him, this is the best compliment I think I could give you, is that I thought my phone was ringing in my back pocket the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, it was just rumbling. I kept checking my phone because I thought it was ringing. He's like, that is the best compliment you could give me.
Oh, dude, it's a wall. I mean, it's oh my God. Yeah, he's awesome, man. Love that dude. Shout out Ian. He'll probably see this and give me shit for it.
Yeah, dude.
So, all right, well, man, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna ask you. Like, I know you usually do a lot of asking questions, but like, who are your favorite local bands right now?
My favorite local bands. Just to name a few, you get Ritual Fog, of course.
Love it.
They of course, Autolith. I'm partial to certain people.
Sure.
You guys, I think, are a breath of fresh air. I really, really do. Dude, there's a younger up and coming band right now, East of Eden.
East of Eden, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, these guys are impressive, man. I mean, really, really. I remember being that age, and I could not do that.
I was nowhere close to that. Yeah,
no.
Very impressed with those guys.
Yeah,
no.
They're good kids.
I really wish that these guys continue to progress, man. Like I said, they're one of my favorites right now, and really, and of course, Epic of Unlight, Process of Suffocation. It's just,
that last album was so good.
Yeah. Oh, damn it. Oh, dude, yeah. I ordered it, got it in the mail, and it may not even work anymore. I think I've worn it.
You burned through it.
Yeah. But definitely, that'll be one of the bands that I plug, man. East of Eden, those guys. Yeah. I'm proud to see that, it's some younger guys coming up doing this,
I think
technical kind of thing.
Background, like I could see them being, we put them on the Growlers, the second show that we played at Growlers, just because we believe in those guys. You know what I mean? Like, I think that I hope that in 4 years, they're not even gonna remember us, you know what I mean? Like, that they're gonna be torn, and I think that they have the capacity to do it, and I'm sure there's mistakes along the road that all young bands make, but man, just skill level and drive, they're hungry, dude. They want it, and I really respect that from them. So best of luck. I hope they like I said, I hope they forget about us in 4 years.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's, and like I said, dude, I wish them all the best. I hope they progress. Great band. It's really really good to see them coming out of Memphis, man.
Yeah, agreed.
And I'm getting close to time, man. Before we go, let's plug some things, man. Tell me what's coming up. Tell me what's going on.
Yeah, so July 12th is our next local show with Cora, Sing Hell, and then a band from Arkansas called Mammoth Caravan, which those are the homies. They're like a doom band, really, really cool. We're excited for that one. I think Skinny's birthday party has
It got announced today.
So
Skinny's birthday party is going to be a weird one, but damn, is it going to be fun.
Yeah, so that'll be August 5th at the High Tone with us, Dead Soldiers, Heels, and Risky Whispers. And if you know Skinny from the High Tone, you know it's going to be a blowout. Like, show up, get you a free loose hot dog at the door.
Yeah, I gotta get up. I actually got to get up with Skinny again, dude. I tried to get him and Taylor on an episode a while back.
That would be awesome.
Man, for whatever reason, it just didn't work out, man. So I got to get in touch with him again, man. I love that guy, man. Him and Taylor, they good people, man.
And then I think we can announce this too, because I think they announced it online, but we actually just picked up a show in Chattanooga. We're going to be headlining this festival called Subfest. We're very excited about that in Chattanooga. It's the first time we're coming to Chattanooga. We're really excited and hope that they dig the thrash vibe that we're bringing.
Yes.
They're going to get it.
Yeah, they're going to get it no matter what. So,
yeah.
I know someone that'll dig it right. I will let the coat hanger abortion guys know you're coming.
Oh, please do. Yeah. Let them know.
Please do.
Yeah, it's a free show, so you can't lose anything.
Absolutely.
After that, we got a couple things. We got something planned around Halloween that we'll announce later this year, and then I think the only other big thing on the horizon is actually, I guess by the time this comes out or close to it, we are dropping a guitar playthrough on YouTube here soon.
Yep.
So go follow us on YouTube. Check that out.
It's really stupid.
Yeah, it's really stupid, but
it's gotta be.
That's who we are.
Yeah, you'll have to pause it a few times and be like, "What the fuck did I just see?"
Yeah,
and like rewind it. But no, it's real dumb.
But yeah, I think that's mostly on the horizon. Our next album is going to be called Total Nuclear Assault. It'll be out in January of next year.
Awesome.
So be looking out for that. We'll be kind of teasing some more stuff about that as we get closer. But
again, Total Nuclear Assault, which we're calling TNA, takes place 1,000 years before Cursebreaker.
Yep.
So
awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's all we got, man.
That's amazing, man. And again, man, it's I can't thank you guys enough for doing this, man. I mean,
thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Not a problem, man.
Podcast and super stoked that we were able to be a part of it, man.
Absolutely.
Right. We've got to come up with some kind of coalition. We've got to put some kind of, I know Memphis Hates You is basically not going to happen again. I think I've tried.
Fair enough. Yeah.
There needs to be another festival, man. Something where everybody. I think the last one that we played was Vault Fest.
Vault Fest, yeah. I was gonna say.
Dude, Chris Goolsby put that together, and he did it by himself. And it turned out amazing, dude. It really, really did. So it got to be something else.
All local Memphis metal fest, like
yes,
that'd be cool.
Mempho Metal Fest. We're trying to. No, that's already taken. We can't do
that.
That
is taken. We'll come up with something better.
I might owe them money now. I don't know.
Well, like company, let me talk to them.
Yeah. We'll work it out. Our people will be in contact with your people.
That's it. Management, man. You gotta have good management.
That's right.
That's it. Well, guys, man, thank you, man. I love you guys. I appreciate you being here. And, man, your contributions to the Memphis music scene are so appreciated. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. Thanks you so much.
Dude.
We'll talk to you later, bud.
See you guys soon.
Later.